What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back here for the last episode of the Premier League's perspective for the end of the season. Obviously, we've got our scores on the doors from the Premier League Predictor Show, which are 115 to 133, which is the latest score from last week going into the last weekend. Let me just remind you, it's 1 point for a correct result, 5 points for a correct scoreline. And let's see how Simeon went on, and let's see if he could have caught me up. I don't think he will, but let's see already. Let's see if he does. And let's start off with the Arsenal game. Arsenal against Brighton. Arsenal obviously claiming the win on the day, a 2-0 win, and both of us went 1-1. So none of us getting a point there. Obviously, we didn't see any of the football because Spurs were playing on the day.
Nicolas Pepe, to be fair to him, he's ended the season on 10 Premier League goals, which isn't bad for him. But for how much they pay for him? 75 million or something.
Yeah, something like that.
So not quite what they expected, but he's definitely getting better, so fair play, but not enough to finish above Tottenham. Apparently Gabriel lost a tooth celebrating the post-match celebration, finishing below Spurs.
Yeah, and obviously there was quite a buzz around the Emirates with they thought they were getting their St Tottringham's Day back, but it wasn't to be. And Arsenal get no European football for the first time in a very, very long time.
Yeah, and it's the first time since Wenger. They haven't got European football, so I think that's a massive blow for them. As much as they say they're relieved to not get the Conference League, which they might, there probably is a big part of them which is relieved not to be in that competition. To be out of European football for the first time in that long is not a good step. And they said Arteta finished 8th. They said give him a full season and he'll finish. He'll be better off, and they finished 8th again. So we'll see what next season brings.
Arteta in. Let's move on to the next game. Aston Villa against Chelsea. It finished 2-1 to Aston Villa on the day, which is probably the shock of the weekend. I went 2-1 to Chelsea. You went 2-0 to Chelsea, but it ended up 2-1 to Aston Villa. But Chelsea still sneaking into Europe because we beat Leicester.
Yeah. So we did Chelsea a massive favour. To finish the season like that when they needed a win and to be beaten so convincingly by Villa is obviously not great going into the Champions League final, but maybe they got the Champions League final in the back of their mind going into this game. So that's the only thing you can think of when you think why they performed so poorly. But they got away with one. They definitely got away with one, and now they can kind of go into that Champions League final a bit with a bit of relaxed a bit.
Let's move on to the Fulham against Newcastle game. It finished 2-0 to Newcastle. I got that absolutely spot on. I got 5 points for that round. I went 2-0. You went 2-1 to Newcastle. You gain a point there. So the scores are now 138 to me to 116 to you, falling even further behind Sim. Speechless. As we move on to Leeds against West Brom, which finished 3-1 to Leeds, and both of us predicted 4-1 to Leeds. So one goal shy of 5 points for both of us, but we both end up with 1 point.
Yeah,
so that makes it 139 to 117.
Yeah, fair play to Leeds. So ended the season in the fashion that they've been playing in the last few months. So very strong ending to the season for Leeds. So fair play to them. A lot of people expected them to falter, but they didn't.
Leicester against Tottenham. I mean, we both predicted losses. We both predicted 2-1 to Leicester. But it ended up being 4-2 to Spurs.
Very nearly was 2-1 to Leicester with 10 minutes to go, maybe.
Yeah, that's true. But, I think as soon as Gareth Bale came on and Lucas Moura, it changed the complexion of the game, didn't it?
It did. Bale was absolutely brilliant. Won us the game. Made sure we didn't finish below Arsenal for the first time in 5 years. So that's the only solace going into that one. If the ending the season on a bit of a high, which was a positive, but we very nearly succumbed to a 2-1 defeat to Leicester, but they couldn't hang on. Kind of bottled it a bit.
Yeah,
Leicester.
They did, big time. Liverpool against Crystal Palace finished 2-0 to Liverpool on the day. Liverpool ceiling top 4. I went 4-0, you went 3-0, so you were 1 goal off, I was 2 goals off. But we both get a point there, which makes it 140 to 118.
Yep. Liverpool somehow sneaking into top 4 after the season they've had, so unbelievable, really.
It just shows what kind of a season it's been, really.
Yeah, it's a crazy season, and they just look like fair play to Liverpool, man, because they got 26 points out of the last 30. So that's the form you need to show to get back in the Champions League, and they did it.
Manchester City against Everton finished 5-0 to Man City on the day. What did you go for? You went for 3-1. I went for 3-2. So we thought it was going to be a bit of a topsy-turvy game, but Man City just went out and dominated completely.
Well, I think at 3-0 Everton missed a penalty, so it could have been 3-1 at one point. But
at one point, yeah.
At one point. But look, fair play to Aguero. Signing off his time at City with 2 goals. Absolute legend he is, and what a career he's had at City. That's the main story out of that one.
Yeah, most definitely. It definitely goes down as a Premier League legend, that's for sure. So the scores are 141 to 119 as we move on to Sheffield United against Burnley. Sheffield United signed off with a win as they go down to the Championship. I went 1-0 to Burnley and you went 2-2. So none of us getting a point there.
No.
But Sheffield United signing off, going down to the Championship after 3 points.
Yeah. A few times they've shown they've gone down fighting fair, and it would they've been down for a while now, so it's been very easy to carry on with those run of losses. But I guess they wanted to end in front of their fans on a positive note, so they ground out the win.
And the second last game was West Ham against Southampton. Finished 3-0 to West Ham. I went 3-2. You went 2-1 to West Ham. But, it's in a game where you really expected West Ham to show some nerves, try to clinch that Europa League spot, but they completely had a resounding result, didn't they?
I agree, and I think they fully deserve Europa League at the end of the season. They were much more consistent than Spurs. When it really mattered, they usually end up getting the points, and they did it again on the last day. Convincing win. Pablo Fornal's signing it off for them. So look, they'll enjoy their Europa League trip next season. We won't.
Well, you say enjoy, but the last 2 times they've gotten to the Europa League, they've gone out to Aston. So
we're lucky they don't have to qualify this time.
Yeah, but Astra Juraju don't have to qualify either, apparently.
They'll be quaking in their boots, West Ham.
And the last game of the Premier League was Manchester United against Wolves at the Molineux. It finished 2-1 to Man United, and Sim signs off with 5 points on the last game. I sign off with 0-1-1. I went. Simeon went 2-1. So that finishes off the scoreline as I get 142 points. Simeon gets 125 points. How did you slip down so far, Sim?
It slipped away from me. I had a few, just like Spurs this season, a few last-minute goals cost me, and that's how it works.
That is how the cookie crumbles, people. That is how the cookie crumbles. I
Like
gave you your opportunities. I kept letting you back in it. I kept doing my big brother duties to you, but you failed to capitalise, and I take the crown this year. We'll be back with this next year. I think we're going to do it a bit more revamped with different kind of rules in it, different kind of point system. But that was the inaugural perspective. I come away with the win. Let's see if Simeon can come back strong next year. But it has finished 142 to 125. I'll take that with open arms.
Sure you will.
I definitely will. Shall we do one for the Euros?
What,
a predictor show?
Predictor show for the Euros? Potentially, yeah.
We'll have to put something together for that. But if you want to see this continue throughout the Euros, let us know in the comment section below. But that is it from us. That is this year's Premier League's perspective. That is a wrap. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this year. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.